Okay, so welcome back to the Northern Nerd Network. My name is Dan Schessel, and on today's edition of the Nerdcast, we have none other than Nick McQuick. Nick, can you say hi?
I am Nick. I say hi.
All right. We don't have Chelsea tonight with us. She is under the weather. So it's just going to be me and Nick tonight. So we should have a good show for everyone tonight. So here's hoping I don't do too bad. Chelsea's one that usually holds up the show for us, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so anyways, we typically will start off the show by asking everybody how their week was. So, Nick, how was your week?
Pretty good. I got my first level prestige in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and I bought the new Street Fighter on Steam, so very excited. That goes live at midnight tonight, so I'm going to be Hadoukening up a storm right away. Other than that, did some comedy shows, drove around a bit, tried not to wear pants.
Any day where you don't have to wear pants is a good day.
Yeah, exactly. How was your weekend?
My week was pretty good. On Wednesday, I had the opportunity to go over to, it was called The Last Alliance, where they talk about Tolkien and a lot of his work, so Lord of the Rings. And yeah, they had a guest seminar series that's going on down at the U of A, so I got a chance to go and sit down on that for a night. I have notes on it too, and I'm just trying to find them now. There they are. Yeah, so basically the whole focus was on The Hobbit for the session. They do have another guest seminar lecture series coming up next week, but we'll get back to that later on in the show. Other than that, I went snowboarding with my kid. I have a 5-year-old kid. He went skiing. I went snowboarding. So I took him out on the weekend, and we got to see Deadpool. So that was a good weekend.
Deadpool was awesome.
Was it not? I really I'm have a hard time watching comedies like in movies because they've been so bad lately. But this one has been fantastic. I love it.
I've been a Deadpool fan for a long time, so.
Yeah, no, it was definitely well worth going to see, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I very much had an awesome time. It's not the intro to that movie just sets it aside. The entirety of that movie, the way that the characters interact with the audience it's groundbreaking, and I laughed so hard 4 drops of pee came out of me, and that as a comedian, that's rare.
That's a pretty good standing right there.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 drops of pee.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so yeah, that's pretty much about it. We'll just get, I guess, into our news items for this week. Let's see. Now I got to switch back into my news items.
News items.
Yeah. So first, are you sitting down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're coming out with a standing sitting chair, where you wear this chair everywhere you go.
Bionic legs.
Bionic legs.
Yeah,
so,
it seems really weird because like you think like, oh, we're getting cyborgs. Like I'm wearing like a Bluetooth headset thing that's really high tech and cool, kind of wearable technology. But like when I was watching like Gundam and stuff, I wasn't like, oh man, those guys they don't have leg fatigue. That wasn't the cool thing about it for me. So I don't know. I understand it's cool. It's a step in the right direction and everything, but like there's no missiles. They don't have like rocket boosters. It's just like now when you're standing up, your legs won't get as sore. It's like, oh, well, I suppose that's a step in the right direction.
They don't really go into a whole lot of details on like, or showing you like how these things are attached to yourself. Like, can you actually walk in these? It looks like you can.
I mean, it looks like you can walk slowly in them, but like I don't like they're not designed for speed or anything. So like if Jason suddenly shows up with a machete and you're in a cornfield, you're like, well, I can stand here and my legs won't be fatigued, but like I'm not making any sort of escape in these things.
Yeah, you're not looking for the exits while you're wearing the.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's cool to see. They developed them. They said it says for surgeons because surgeons stand up a lot for a long time, and they need to sit down, I guess, and that's kind of cool that works. But like me myself, I very seldomly am performing surgery on somebody, and if I am, it's usually very hastily, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and then I leave as quick as I can. So
Yeah, so you don't want to be strapped into a chair, right? So.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to be running down the street with a chair tied to my legs.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll go from one useless item to almost another useless item, but looks cool still. Regardless, they both kind of are pretty cool. Custom Harry Potter hardback books.
These things they look pretty awesome. Like, and here's the weird thing: I didn't get into Harry Potter until 2015. Like, I was like, this is for kids. This is silly and ridiculous. But then the thing is, I was actually on a professional nerd panel, like a superhero fan fighting thing, and
Mm-hmm.
people kept bringing up like who would win in this fight and that fight, and I had like my kryptonite for nerd knowledge was Harry Potter, so I just dove in and had to learn everything way too late. So I definitely see the appeal. They look awesome. They're like incredible. They look handcrafted. They're leather bound. They've got like a big metal clasp on them, and then they've got all these different Horcruxes on them, and which are
Yeah, they
similar
got
to a
like the wands on
phylactery.
the side.
Yeah, and they got wands on the side, and the Horcrux is actually a magnet that holds your bookmark in it. So like you don't have a bookmark hanging out the top or side.
Yeah, no, I can see how they would be very practical to have, and you know what? I I'm still one of those people who are outside of the Potter knowledge realm. I've never really got into it myself.
It it's just 12 and a half hours of your life.
Yeah,
Okay, you
it's
just
just
gotta
that's what I'm being told, right? So,
yeah.
uh,
It's for
I don't know. I always wanted to check it out. There's a few holes in my nerd repertoire that I'm sort of filling in by doing this channel and doing this line of work. So I guess I'm gonna have to eventually. Same with like there's a D&D, Harry Potter, and Doctor Who are my big main holes that I need to get filled for that.
I just watched a Doctor Who episode today. I know
Ooh.
D&D very well, and I was in a rush, but I got a bit of Harry Potter. But I'm gonna say my nerd strength is probably straight up video games, fighting games, and I'm gonna say Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you're a nerd, usually you focus in on one specific area, right? So
Oh yeah.
uh, I'm starting to branch out a little bit more now that I'm doing this, I guess.
Yeah. What got you started? What was your basically your first drink from the nerd chalice?
Oh man, video games was a huge one for me especially when I was growing up. But that's kind of changed over the years. I got into a lot of board gaming, tabletop gaming. There's some X-wing back there, so miniatures and stuff like that. I love miniatures
Oh
now.
yeah, that's good.
Uh,
I was deep into 40K, man.
oh, I look at that. I'm going. I see how my money would just disappear.
I got
And
this close to bankruptcy on it. It was addictive.
I know. I've seen some people with their 40K collections, and they're like, do you have a car? No, but I got this amazing collection of.
Yeah, it's strange. That and Magic the Gathering are the
Yeah.
two things where like in my life I was like, I need to quit drinking, I can't do drugs, I need to save my money for Magic the Gathering.
my the thing having my 5-year-old in my house. Actually, he's 6. Sorry, 6. Uh, he's starting to get into Pokemon right now, and
Oh
I
yeah.
never really got into Pokemon when I was a kid. But he's been watching every show, every. like he's trying to get into it as much as he possibly can. A lot of his kids in his class are trading the cards and stuff like that. So
Ooh,
the
the
last
cards.
weekend I've been studying it as much as I possibly can to figure out what the hell this thing is. I can see how dangerous this is going to be coming in the
Oh
next little
yeah,
while.
it is definitely. Get away from the cards. The cards are expensive. Go to like just get them something for a 3DS or something. That'll do way better. It's $50 a year rather than like $10 a week.
That's going to be it. I know that's the realm I'm going to be in
Oh
shortly.
yeah, it's a very expensive drug. But I mean, the great thing is if he's hooked on like a collectible card game, then yeah, you know your kid's not going to grow up to be like a heroin addict or something. He can't afford it. So
Exactly. That's
yeah.
get him hooked on cards. Hey
Hmm.
kid, want a Pokemon card? No, just kidding.
You want a foiled Charizard?
It's a full art.
And then you sent me one more link too
I
for
did.
yeah
Uh,
the
3D virtual reality is becoming a big thing in our world nowadays.
wow.
And they are making a simulator that kind of simulates you flying through a city.
Yeah,
Which,
it's like you strap on the goggles and it looks like you lay on like sort of like a surfboard and they tie frying pans to your arms
yeah,
and you just sort of flap around.
yeah, you can flap around, so you can actually flap your wings or turn in the directions of. It looks interesting. I would try. I'm very curious on how all this 3D stuff works. I know they're coming with the Oculus now, so we'll
Oh
see.
yeah. Well, my buddy, he develops games like online little handheld things, but they sent him an Oculus developer kit, so I got to try it out. And it's not something I would ever do like around friends because then they're gonna like throw shaving cream at you or something. Like this is the sort of thing where it's like you need to be alone in your house, otherwise whoever is watching you and filming you, you're gonna look ridiculous doing it.
And you're just opening yourself up to who knows what on the outside world because you're going to be so focused on what is going on right in front of
Oh
you.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'll be playing like Street Fighter and my house can be on fire and I'll notice when like my hair is burning. Like with a screen strapped to my face, I am completely oblivious to everything.
We had one commenter here. He said, "Have you heard of Pokemon Go?" Uh,
Oh, yeah.
that is the Pokemon on your cell phone, isn't? I believe, is it not?
It's not out yet, but like
No, it's not.
yeah, I got
It
really
does sound.
excited about this too. They
It
they
does sound
sell you
cool.
like a Fitbit thing that you put on yourself and you walk around.
Yeah.
It's a augmented reality. So like you look like you're a normal person walking around with important emails and text messages and stuff, but really you're actually looking around trying to find Pokemon with the camera on your cell phone. Because this is a good way because it looks like it's a secret, so nobody knows that you're a 12-year-old boy. Um, but yeah, it looks awesome and exciting. And I'm very worried that somebody's gonna like walk out into traffic chasing Mewtwo.
Yeah. Well, it's just it. The Pokemon. No, don't run over Pikachu.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think it's going to be amazing. I really do. I think it's going to be I think it'll be awesome. I got into this other game. It's called Ingress for a while, and then I realized that my gas bill in my car was way too high because you have to drive to all these different places, and you capture these points, and it's based in reality, right? So. Oh man, I could just see myself my car and my gas bill in my car going way up again.
Sounds like a perfect game for an Uber driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
just
already
drive
here. Might as
around.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Just make some money, get that cheddar, and capture points.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so I think that's pretty much about it for our news items. Uh,
Mhm.
we're just gonna go into you, Nick. How are you? What are you doing here? Like, why are you on my show this week?
Well, I'm a big nerd, like about 6 feet tall, normal size nerd, I guess. But when I was growing up, I I lived kind of a weird life. I would always play Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and we couldn't actually afford Dungeons and Dragons, so we played Rifts, which is like $3 cheaper. Um, so we did that. It was a great like exercise for imagination and everything. Then about 1995, I started playing Magic the Gathering, and I got real deep into that. And I remember, and this is kind of a weird thing to confess on the internet. I was about 17, and my buddy's like, "Hey, we're going out. We're gonna go meet these chicks." And I'm like, "Man, seriously, I got to work on my deck. Okay, this is a black blue combo deck. It's gonna change things. Okay, I don't got time for the ladies."
I'm gonna tear this up. I'm gonna tear up the scene.
Yeah. Oh man, it was. I got really into it, but it was strange because I guess I grew up like kind of poor and not exactly the best life. So a lot of what I did, playing video games, playing RPGs, playing like dice and paper, playing cards, everything I could, was sort of like an escape to get away from it, which I think a lot of people use. But as I grew older, I realized like nobody's gonna come to my funeral and say like, "Oh yeah, that guy, he had an incredible deck." I tell you, it was amazing. So I sort of, for a while, I sort of shunned my nerdly nature, and I tried to live like every single day of my life. Like, you have to get better, you have to improve, go to the gym, run, focus on work, career, all the adult things. But I was miserable. I was upset. I had lots of money, but I was super upset. So I think for me, it was about finding a balance, because a lot of things that you do, like playing video games, like reading sci-fi, any sort of nerdy thing you do, is kind of an escape from life. And you need those. Those are really important. But you also can't have too much of it. Like, if you look at your day as sort of like a pie chart, and you've got like 10 hours in World of Warcraft, like that's probably not good. But if you also have like 12 hours at work, and then like 6 hours in the gym, and then 6 hours of sleep, you're like, well, you need some fun. Otherwise, you're just going to be some sort of robot asshole.
Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I was the same way. For many years, I hid myself in the basement, or I just didn't socialize with a lot of people. uh, and then yeah, and then one day I just decided to leave the house, and eventually I got married, and then I got because I have a wife now, I get to go back to my nerdy side. It's great.
No,
And then
it's
I have this, and it's kind of like an excuse for me to do whatever I want.
yeah. Well, like, and when I grew up too, now it's so weird because like, if I see kids walking around, they all got like 3DSs, they're all playing video games, they got like Dragon Ball shirts on and stuff. I remember being a kid and getting picked on for that shit. Like,
No, no,
people put
it's
me in
not even
lockers and
fair.
stuff. Yeah, and now everybody does it now. They all love it. They're like, "Oh, this is great. This is wonderful," and it's so embraced. And I'm like, "You guys don't even know what the inside of a locker is like."
I know. I don't know
Yeah,
how many days I spent in a locker.
yeah. Well, we paved the way for this generation now. Because I remember like being a nerd playing video games, you get made fun of. Now you go to the frat house where all the cool guys are, they're playing Halo. Like, what the hell? Makes
I
no
know.
sense.
It's on TV. They're having esports now is a big thing. I
Yeah,
mean, oh, it's ridiculous.
yeah, it is. It's
It's
strange, but
unfair.
yeah,
Unfair.
I yeah, I don't know. I love video games, but like now I have to set a timer. I play a video game, I set a timer, and it's like I'll play for an hour and then I'll be done, and then I got to go write or do something constructive or go run on a treadmill or something just so I can justify coming back and playing more.
Well, typically I'll have to choose which game I want to play. Like, I will say, here's a game I really want to get. It's coming down in about 6 months, so I will start saving a little bit of money now, and I will start, prepping my wife, paving the way just a little bit, and then when that time comes, I can play that game for a set amount of time, and then
Yeah.
once that time has run out, usually when she gets really mad at me, because I'm playing the game way too much, uh, then the game goes on the shelf and I don't ever see it until the next game I get to play comes out.
Yeah.
usually around Christmas time. So it's usually halfway. So I might get uh, the Division when it comes out here, and
Oh yeah.
then I won't get another game until September.
Oh, the Division looks awesome. It's
Doesn't it?
incredible.
Oh.
See, for me, I've got so many games. I'm looking through my Steam right now. I got so many games, and I get them. Like I got The Witcher 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started playing it. I'm getting near the end, and then I got Metal Gear 5. So I just stopped playing The Witcher, and I started playing that. And then I got pretty far. I got Far Cry 4, so then I'm playing that, and I completely forgot about Metal Gear. And yeah, I got Call of Duty, Black Ops 3. I just kept getting new games, and I'm really bad at finishing them. But I'm also like, it sucks because I'm gonna go back to Metal Gear 5 in like 3 years, and I'll be like, oh, I got a save file, and then I'll have no idea what I'm doing at all, and I'll be too far in the game to not have skill to play it. So that that sort of ADHD of playing games really creates a replay value for me because I never fucking finish anything.
I have an issue where if I don't finish it, I find little bits of time to finish it. Like I can't not let it go.
Oh yeah.
Once it's done, then I can't go back to the game anymore. I have to find something new to go do. There's a lot of games I don't finish. That's because they suck.
Oh yeah. I got a few of those stinkers. I got tricked into buying. It was different back in the day. You go to Blockbuster and you rent a game, and then if you're like, "Oh, this is a fun game," you can like go and nag your parents until they buy it for you. But
Mhm.
now, like on Steam, maybe a tenth of the game have like demos that you can get a handle on, or maybe you got a friend that has it or something. But most of the time, you just watch a video and you're like, that sells me on it."
Yeah, but usually when you back in when I was able to rent games, games didn't last as long as they do nowadays.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, I could finish a game in a weekend and be all right with that. And
Yeah, there definitely is that nowadays. There's some games like The Witcher 3. I think I'm like probably 300 hours in on, and it's like I still haven't beat. I don't know. But the thing is, it's a $60 game. I got my money's worth. I very much did. If I break it down, I'm like paying for like, oh my god, I don't even know. Math is my strong point, but
like
I'm
pennies on
getting
the
my money's
hour.
worth. Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
and then like if you get some terrible game, Gears of War or something, and you beat it in 6 hours, and you're like, oh, that wasn't worth it.
And you're not going to go online.
No, Gears. I don't know what it is about Gears of War, but like, I get it. I play online for like a week, and I just can't get into it.
There's a few games where it's just like I just couldn't do it. Uh,
Yeah,
there's some that are just really uber competitive, and I'm just like, maybe I'll just stay away from these ones.
yeah.
Uh,
There is
we
like,
have one commenter on our page here. He's a longtime listener of our show. He's saying that he has about 300-ish games in his Steam library, and he has only played about two-thirds of them. I
jeez,
know a few guys like that.
man. I'll always play them, but like I'll never finish them. But I gotta give them a try. I don't know. When the Steam sale comes on and they have all the deals, I make sure that I buy a game and I have to start playing that game before I can buy another
But
game.
another game, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get that
Those
money
Steam
worth. I don't
sales,
know.
man, they're very tempting sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that great? I don't remember it being all that good.
No, it really wasn't. It didn't. Not a lot of kind of jumped out to at me. It's all about like when the games are released, and now that we've got like game awards and everything, people are timing it, so it's a lot more like movies now. When they come
Mm.
out, they try and time them, and they're aware of their competition. Like uh, Dragon Age was originally going to come out. Dragon Age Inquisition was going to come out right around the same time as The Witcher 3. And then it's like, hey, wait, these are two similar games from AAA companies. Maybe we should space them a little bit so that we don't like kind of screw each other over.
Yeah, they everything's timed out nowadays uh,
Oh yeah.
to the max. Anyways, you said you were a local comedian. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that. Like
Okay.
how do you enjoy being a comedian in this city?
it This city, like I have been all over Canada doing comedy. I've been in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Red Deer. I've been everywhere, and I have to say, in Edmonton, there is so much opportunity for stage time, and so many diverse crowds, and it's probably one of the best places to become a comedian because you can get on stage and the stages here, they're not going to sugarcoat it. If you're not funny, you know, and you'll get notes, you'll get hecklers. I've had hell gigs, I've had people throw stuff at me, but I mean, like it's sort of any experience. If you go through a harder experience, you're going to get more benefit and more experience out of it, so it helps you become a better comedian. But yeah, I've had some doozies here. But that being said, there is so much market for stand up in Alberta. Alberta, we have like corporate Christmas parties and events and lots of things like that, and they hire out comedians. So I go there and I make fun of some big wig at an oil tycoons convention or some such. We've got like roast battles where comedians go head to head making fun of each other. We've got we have joke battles where the audience gives suggestions and the comedians have to come up with jokes on the spot. We have like comedy shows where you can't do any of your material. You have to do like stuff that you're just coming up off the top of your head or talking to the audience about. So that sort of because there's so many different directions to go with it, it gives you so many different things to work with and improve on.
Awesome. Uh,
It's a really weird job too. This last Friday, I was in Fox Creek, which is like a 2.5 hour drive. So I drive 2.5 hours to do comedy for 45 minutes and then drive 2.5 hours back. I'm technically being paid to drive most of the time, and then I just tell dumb poop poop stories and then come back.
that's a good life.
Oh yeah, the hours are incredible. Like on when I'm working at the comic strip in Edmonton, which is the club I started at. When I'm working there, like imagine if you were working your job and you worked an hour a night, like just an hour, maybe 2 hours a night. And
Yeah.
then you can go play your video games or do whatever. And also during the day, you do whatever you want. You can go to the bank, you go to the post office. It's great. That being said, like I before I when I had a day job, I was a heavy duty mechanic, so that ate up a lot of my time.
Hmm.
And I guess technically now I have a day job. I write and perform and stuff, but still, that they work around my schedule and give me a lot of freedom, so I'm happy about
That's awesome.
that.
So, what sort of things got you into comedy in the first place then?
Oh man, I used to go to parties and I would just tell people stories about like my life growing up, all that sort of jazz. And I remember standing on a table and a group of people around me and me telling them stuff and them laughing. And like it never clicked in my head that, oh, maybe you should be a comedian. I don't know, you make an audiences laugh already. I went and I saw a comedy show and there was a comedian named Sam Tripoli, very funny guy, and he came up to me after the show. And or well, I came up to him after the show and we're talking to each other and we're just making jokes, making each other laugh. And he goes, "How long have you been doing comedy?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a comedian." So he waved the manager over and asked the manager to sign me up for an open mic, and that's how I started comedy, kicking and
That's a pretty
screaming.
good way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So they said, "Yeah, you're pretty funny. Get out there and do your fun things." And I was like, "Okay, well, now I need to write jokes and figure out what I'm going to talk about."
So, okay, so then where do you get your inspiration from your for your jokes then?
Oh man, it's weird. I'll just be sitting around thinking about funny things. I'll be in traffic and people will cut me off and I'll be like, "Oh, well, here we go. This is going to be on stage." A lot of the things I talk about on stage are like true stories that happened to me, and I find those kind of resonate with people a little bit better. But other than that, I don't know. It's just sort of in the moment. I like there are comedians in Edmonton. There's a comedian named Alex Fortin, and he has like a 5 minute thing where he rants about Fiji bottled water. So I mean, it can come from anywhere really if you can make it funny, and that's the strength of the comedian is to find something they're either passionate about or they can find the comedy in and talk about it.
All right. So, do you have any chances where you get to cross your nerd love with comedian work at
Oh
all?
yeah, I work at the Edmonton Comic Con and the Calgary Comic Con, and we do a mystery science theater thing where we watch a film and we do that. They for a few years they had the comedy extravaganza, I think it was called, or expoaganza or something. I don't know. I'm not in charge of names. Um, and I would go up there and do all my nerdy jokes and stuff, talking about how Daredevil has the worst power ever. Um, which still really terrible power. Awesome Netflix show, really good. But I did that a lot. I do some shows for there's been a few comedy shows at Warp One Comics that have enlisted my services. So there is a sometimes where it crosses over, but I mean when I'm on stage, I'm just as much a nerd as I am when I'm off, and it sometimes that slips out.
It's fun to make fun of what we love, right?
Oh yeah,
It's just what it is just what it is, I guess. Uh,
yeah.
what kind of shows have you done? Like, what are some of the strangest places you've worked in?
Oh, oh man, I have done. I've done shows in bars in small town Alberta where they have chicken wire up like it's the Blues Brothers. Like people are gonna be throwing bottles at me. I did a show in a the polite way is not to call it a sex club, to say a swingers club, but like there were couches and there was people like coitusing at each other all over the place, and like there was men wearing leashes and naked people, and I had to do comedy there, and that
It's just a little
was
distracting, that's all.
oh yeah, it's kind of strange. It's weird because one of the things they say public speaking is a big fear, and they say, oh, just imagine the audience naked. It's hard when they're naked. Like they're
It's
already you don't
worse.
yeah you don't even need imagination. They're already naked. It's so awkward. Uh, I did a comedy show at a gay bar in Edmonton called Woody's. And to close out the show, I took my pants off and I had a hot dog in my underwear that I pulled out and deep throated. And then I ate a hot dog on stage and they just loved it. It was nonstop applause. And I was like, this is so weird. This is my mom, it must be so proud of me just garfing down hot dogs at a gay bar.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, I've done shows in libraries. I've done shows in sex clubs. I've being a comedian opens a lot of doors. You can go anywhere.
So
Yeah.
so I don't know, like how do you do this? How do you become a comedian then?
It's like there's going to be about 2 years of doing comedy where you lose money a lot, and like to this day, there are some shows I still do where I lose money just because it costs more to get to the venue and get a hotel than it like you're making. But it's art, it's passion. I don't know, it's an addictive thing. The first time I did it, I got a huge adrenaline rush. I just my heart was pounding when I got on the stage, and it still does to this day. Every time I get on, I feel really panicky and scared, but I love it. It's like jumping out of a plane. It never goes away. So I went up and I got some laughs, and I did that for a while. About my second year of stand up comedy, somebody offered me money to go down and do a 10-minute spot in Calgary. And so I went and I drove from Edmonton to Calgary and I got a hotel room and I did my spot. I got paid $25 and I stayed in the hotel and then I drove back. Now, I wasn't driving like a cheap car. So this was about $60, $70 worth of gas, $90 for a hotel, and I made $20. So like it took a while before comedy became profitable. And I needed a day job to support it. And it's really hard because you love comedy, you're doing comedy, you're getting to bed at midnight 1 a.m and you're waking up at 6 to go to work, but like eventually if you stick with it and you hustle and you work your butt off and you're willing to take the loss of money and get out there and invest in your art and in yourself, like there's a chance that maybe one day you get to do the thing you love.
That's amazing. Uh,
Yeah. So
it's one of those things, I guess, when you just keep putting yourself out there, you just eventually you'll make it, I guess, if you try hard.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing too, is a lot of people they get into it and they're like, "Oh, cool, I do this." And then they don't put in any effort and they've got the same material and they don't invest in their stage presence or anything. They don't really develop and they get stagnant and then they kind of get angry with where they are because they see other people growing. So it's like everything else. It's a lot of work and the trick of it is to make it look like it's not.
Yeah, that's the way with pretty much anything you want to do, right?
Yeah.
It's
It's
always going to be a work, no matter which
well,
way you're going to do it.
yeah. But that being said, being a stand-up comedian has opened so many doors for me. Like the Comic Con, giving me panels where I talk and I do comedy and stuff, and I get to moderate. I get to meet all these people. Some spots on television shows and stuff. There's a show, a talk show that we film locally called To the Point. I'm a writer on it, and I am an occasional guest on it and everything. And they told me like when I went there, I was like, listen, I'm a comedian. That comes first. Okay, like you guys have to give me flexibility. I want freedom more than money with any sort of job. And they were like, yeah, we understand. And I was like, oh, thank fucking God. So to find people like that that are willing to give you a creative outlet to let you be funny and to give you freedom is incredibly rare.
So, can you tell me a little bit more about some of your other projects that you got going on here? Because you got a few things that
Oh,
you do.
oh, oh man, I got so many. I have attention deficit disorder, which I prefer to call attention surplus disorder because it's not like I run out. I have too much. So I'll be working and writing, and I'll get writer's block writing like about a bit about Spider-Man, a sketch about Spider-Man, and then writer's block kicks in. So then I start writing a web series about something, or I start writing another script, or I jump over here. I currently have a web series called Bio Worn Out about writers, and we didn't have the budget for actors, so I'm acting it too. um, and with that same production crew, I've got another web series that I'm working on about sort of discount mercenaries. Other than that, I'm writing a whole bunch of sketches. We have a lot of sketch comedy coming out on To the Point right away. I also have written and pitched and successfully filmed two things of the Ginger Report, where I interview people and harass them at West Edmonton Mall because they gave me a media pass. Now I can do whatever I want. Um, I wrote 6 different pitches for things that I've got a meeting for tomorrow because I like to put things off till the last minute. And yeah, I always try and have like 5 or 6 projects. I read for a feature length film in Calgary a couple weeks ago, and I think I got the part. Um, it's a hustle because like none of this stuff, nobody like I want to do everything. Like people are like, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? My business card says comedian. I like acting. I like writing. I like all that. But I'm a comedian first and foremost. But I love doing the other stuff. But nobody's going to go out of their way to do that for you. Nobody's going to make your dreams happen. You have to go chase them. If like you've got a great idea, I've got so many friends that sit there and they go, oh man, here's my idea for a TV show, and I go, okay, write it down, write it down. You telling me about it does nothing. If you've got an idea, everybody's got an idea. Everybody has incredible ideas. I'm sure that like 10 people listening have awesome ideas about stuff they want to do. Here's something cool. Write it down. Go write it down. That's the first step to it actually happening. If you are a writer or a creator, you have to write. Writers write. Funny thing about writers. So I wrote the first script I ever wrote. I had no idea how a script was written at all. 100% no clue. I wrote a script. I flew to Los Angeles for LA Pitch Fest, and I walked in all confident about how original and awesome this is. I walked in and I got my dick slapped in the dirt. They were like, this is horribly formatted. These are spellings. This is ridiculous. But the thing is, I didn't let that like destroy. I think this is shitty. I'm going to change. So I went and I figured it out. I just went on YouTube and you learn a lot there. I learned how to format a script, all this stuff. I just taught myself and I kept writing and writing and writing. And eventually I wrote a script and they do something similar to buying it. They get a retainer. So they give you a certain amount of money to not sell the script because they have something similar in development. So you can make money as a writer by like not selling things, which is
It's
weird.
actually
So yeah, but I got that, and then I shopped around some scripts, and I got this job at To the Point with Nordic Filmworks. They're a local studio, lots of cool people, lots of awesome stuff going on there, and yeah, I'm their creative guy now. So
awesome. Well, we will have all those links up on our Facebook page shortly after the show is completed. So yeah. Tell me a little bit about your. You got a podcast as well.
yes, I do. It
I
is.
did listen to one of them. It was the one with the Pop Tart one.
That is probably my favorite one. Um, my
Sorry.
podcast. Oh no, go ahead.
Like the whole bit with what was it? It's a taste sensation.
Yeah, it's not a flavor; it's a
It's not
taste
a flavor.
sensation. Well, what I do is I bring on different guests and comedians, and a lot of the time I just bring on a comedian and I interview them, and we talk about like how they're twisted and mentally handicapped, like all comedians are. Um, but every so often I come up with an idea about something, and I'm like, I go to one of my many talented character actor friends, and I ask them to develop a character. And I said to this one, I go to my buddy James Ross. I said, hey, can you come on the podcast as a Pop Tart flavor scientist? And he said, oh yeah, sure, I'll write the character. And he wrote like a 10-page biography on this character, and it was so impressive. So I brought him on and I interviewed him. And the weird thing is, we tweeted it out, and Kellogg's retweeted it. The company, they were 100% cool with it. So I like it when they have a sense of humor about themselves.
No, it was definitely well worth checking out. If anyone is out there, look up the Quick and Slow Comedy Show, and
Yeah.
look up their Pop Tart episode, and you'll get a good laugh
Oh,
out of that one for sure.
it is.
I
That one
have
was
listened
so
to a
funny.
few of the other ones, and yeah, they're pretty good. I really do enjoy the show as well.
Yeah. Well, it was an expense. I'm just going to take a walk around and go to the studio. But when I got into podcasting, I was guesting on other people's podcasts a lot, and I had told my buddy about that. His name's Aaron Maslow, the Slow and the Quick and Slow Comedy Show, and he was like, "Hey, we should start a podcast." And I said, "That's going to cost too much money." And then eventually, I decided to invest some money. So I'm just going to flip the camera around. You can see these are my mic stands and all my headsets I got going on. Over here is the producer chair, the dedicated laptop, soundboard, all that stuff. So the podcast itself ended up costing about $2,000 to get the equipment, and yeah, so far I think I've made no money whatsoever off of it. But
That's typically how a podcast works.
yeah, but I mean, it was fun, and it's still fun. It's an awesome time. And the thing is, like, I just give an hour of free content. There's no ads. I don't see the point. Everybody, I assume, that listens to podcasts listens to 25 of these things, and they're sick and tired about hearing about stamps.com.
Yeah,
Uh,
or
yeah,
like sorry, uh,
that,
this Audacity. There's so many different
yeah.
ads that you everyone hears every single podcast.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I didn't start a podcast to make money. I started a podcast because it was fun, and it's about an hour every week. Usually, pretty entertaining stuff. People can download it, and the thing is, it highlights a lot of cool people in Edmonton and what they're doing. A lot of local comics and fun stuff, and like people usually hear the podcast and they're like, "Hey, that guy's pretty funny," and then they can hit me up on Twitter and get free tickets to shows in town and stuff. So it
That's
kind of
awesome.
helps get more audience.
It's a good way to see who's who in the city, right? Like if you want to find out or listen to a good comedian and you want to learn something new about somebody, check out the show.
Yeah,
It's a good way to do that.
yeah,
That's
and
sort of what
yeah,
we do with our show as well, right? We like to highlight a lot of the people in the city here, all the nerds, and try to grow this community a little bit more and more each day. So yeah, that's I love doing this. It's so much fun. This is my
Oh
the
yeah, man.
highlight of my week.
Well, the thing is too, like I always hear a lot of people like shit on Edmonton, like they're not a big fan of the town or anything, and like it's not the best place in the world, 100%. But that being said, like I was just in Fox Creek, I go to Regina, I go to Saskatoon, I go to Fort, I go to Fort Mac, I go to Grant Prairie. Like seriously, when you go around, like that being said, I've been to Vancouver, I've been to LA, I've been to Vegas. There are a lot of places that are better, but there are a whole bunch of places that are way worse. At Edmonton, we have an awesome art scene. We got a lot of cool people doing cool stuff. We have independent fashion people going on. We've got people making TV shows. We've got people making movies. We've got an incredible music scene. We've got so much live entertainment. There is no excuse to be bored in this city.
No, no, there really isn't. There's so much going on. We have a calendar that we keep on our website that is just full of stuff to do each and every week. Like it is amazing what you can find in this city. There's
Yeah.
tons of stuff going on all the time, and you know what? There's you just hit the nail on the head. Uh, there is so many great artists in this city. There really is, and it doesn't take much to go and find them. And
No,
yeah, it's
it
great.
really doesn't. Yeah, it absolutely doesn't. We've got so much in this city. And yeah, it's easy to say like, "Ooh, I don't like winter." It's like, well, almost everywhere has winter.
We've had a pretty good one this year, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Yeah. I guess other than that, oh yeah, I've got an upcoming short film that I am incredibly proud of. It's called The Fish Story. I play a evil magic ninja bounty hunter. It's an action comedy with lots of. We're not going to call them lightsabers because that would be, sort of a legal kerfuffle. We're going to call them laser swords. Lots of laser sword fights and magic powers, and it is absolutely hilarious. I was working with a good friend of mine, Eric Bowling, and he's the director on it. And he told me to just improvise lines, and I had so much fun with that. And that's The Fish Story. It's coming out at Metro Cinema February 21st. I'm very excited to see that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to put that link up, or I'll have to put that up on our website somehow.
Oh yeah,
You said
that's
February which day?
21st. It's a Sunday.
All right, sounds good. I'll make sure
Yeah.
people doing that. That sounds amazing.
Yep, ninja, evil magic ninja bounty hunter. Because just every title we could
You
put.
gotta hit them all, right?
Yeah, exactly. Out of the park. It's I'm very excited to see me use a non-copyrighted lightsaber.
We every in the summer times we do lightsaber training down in Churchill Square.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've seen it a few times.
there's it's amazing. There's a bunch of people that get it together and swing lightsabers around in public. It's awesome. But really, what we're learning is stage combat, which is really fun. We just do it with lightsabers, all. That's all.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I've been filling out Jedi on the Canadian Census for years now, so I figure if they ever do make a lightsaber, I legally get one, and the government can't take it away.
Well, the lightsaber, uh, whatever the lightsaber group that happens in Churchill Square is put on by the city of Edmonton, which is the most amazing part about the whole thing. Like the actual city pays for that to happen.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
awesome. There's
And
some
I
cool
mean, we got
cats there.
Don Iveson is our mayor, so he is a huge nerd, and he will forever.
He's huge. He's like 9 feet tall. That guy's a
Yeah, he's
massive
actually
person.
the massive man. So
Yeah. Well, the talk show I write on, the city councilor Mike Nickel is the host of, and he's a cool dude. He really is. He's got a great sense of humor, and he's like I don't know if he'd want to be compared, but he's very much like a Sanders sort of type. And yeah, he's awesome to work with. So there are a lot of cool people like in city leadership. So
yeah, I'm pretty happy with our city as a whole, generally.
Yeah, a couple
Don't have
potholes
any.
here.
We do have a lot of potholes. We have a lot
Yeah,
of issues with our city, but we have a pretty good city overall. I believe. I
yeah,
kind of
definitely,
enjoy
man.
it.
Yeah,
It gives me something to do and something to talk about every single week. So it's a good
exactly.
thing.
Yeah. I'm noticing the hat. You get the Imperial hat on.
I do.
What'd
I
you think
also
of the
have
new Star
the
Wars?
I have like a
And the
Darth
Darth
Vader
Vader shirt.
shirt
Geez, I'm
on as
just
well.
sporting the Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, yeah,
I don't I usually have some sort of Star Wars on at some point. It's either
yeah.
on my feet to my head, somewhere like even underwear. It could be anywhere. You never know. So if you're not seeing Star Wars on me at somewhere, I am probably wearing Star Wars underwear.
Star Wars underwear. What did you think of the new film?
I loved it. I thought it was a
It,
great homage, and I think it was a great movie overall. Like it was a lot of fun to go watch, and
it
I cannot wait to see more.
it was incredible. The whole time I was watching it, I was going,
Yeah, just
"Ee!"
like the
like,
whole like smile, like
oh yeah, I was like falling apart giddy. I was so happy. And the thing is, when I saw Phantom Menace, I saw that in the theaters, and I was really excited for it. And I remember leaving, going like, "Well, there had to be some what like wasn't maybe I really liked this part? Like I couldn't
you
figure it.
were
I was
trying to
trying
figure out what you
so
liked about
hard.
the movie.
I was trying to figure out with Phantom Menace what I liked. I was trying so hard to like something. With this, I left and I was like, I couldn't have made it better. Like
Yeah.
as me as a writer, actor, anything, there's no way I could have improved on that. It's beyond my scope. It was great. I
Well,
loved it.
I had to go back. I went back for the second time, because obviously you have to watch that movie two times in the theaters.
Oh, at least.
And so the second time I'm like, do I really like this movie? Am I not? Am I just tricking myself into thinking that this is a great movie? And the answer is no. I am not tricking myself. This is actually a great movie.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's. I just cannot wait, and we're gonna get it on Netflix like right away.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so weird. We Canadian Netflix is getting that before American, so
Yeah,
I guess
I'm.
we did something right.
It's gonna be amazing. I just cannot wait for more Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
that being said, and this is probably going to be a rather unpopular opinion. I liked Deadpool more than Star Wars.
ooh, those are
I
fighting words.
know.
No,
I know.
it's fine.
It's
It's you know what? Deadpool was a great movie. I
oh
really did enjoy going to that and watching that movie. It was amazing. They did a
yeah.
very good job. The writing was brilliant.
Oh, and the thing is too, if you look at it, like Fox kept cutting the funding on it. Ryan Reynolds had to take a pay cut. Like all the action scenes, they like I don't want to spoiler alert or anything for any of you people, but they had to scale back the action scenes. So in one scene, they're gonna have like a big gunfight, but he forgets his guns, kind of thing. So they do stuff like that to save money because they were working against the production company because they didn't have any belief. They weren't willing to give money for this because they were like, it's not gonna succeed.
They,
128 fucking million opening weekend.
there's one part during the movie where they actually make reference to that exact thing.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall and
They,
talks
he
about
breaks
how
the
it's
fourth
getting
wall and
cut.
like actually mentions this. No, it's like the studio can't afford anything else.
Yeah, and so I was very excited to see Deadpool.
Yeah,
I
it brought a
was
big smile to my face the whole way through that movie. It was a good movie.
like yeah, when I'm at a comedy show and I'm doing comedy, usually people are laughing like a lot. Throughout an hour and a half show, there's going to be a ton of laughter. And if you watch something like I don't know, Get Hard, you're like if you watch that and sit there and count how many times you laugh, you're going to get two for a
Hmm.
90-minute experience. With stand-up comedy, you're going to get a lot more. With Deadpool, I think that's the closest that a movie has come to stand-up comedy in laughter.
It's
It
hard to
is.
laugh in a theater, right? And you're like
Oh
actually like
yeah.
when you're sitting down and watching a movie, like if I'm sitting in my room, I don't laugh at movies. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was actually laughing in my seat. I was
Oh
having a
yeah.
good time.
The opening credits, right when the opening credits started,
Yeah.
there was laughter consistently. It was great. They blended action and comedy in such a perfect way. I loved it so much.
Yes. I
And yeah,
cannot recommend it enough for people to go out and watch this movie. It was definitely
100%.
well.
All the listeners or watchers, or however, this is a video podcast. However, all of you guys that are on the internet, go watch things and Deadpool stuff. I'm a professional speaker.
Yes. All right. We're running out of time. So where can we find you on the web?
At Nick McQuick on Twitter, at Nick McQuick on Instagram, at Nick McQuick on Snapchat, and yeah, that's the 3 social medias I use, because if I use them all, then I will have no free time. I got a Facebook fan page, the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. QuickandSlow.com is the podcast. A whole bunch of my dates and deets and everything are up there. If you hit me up for free tickets, I'm usually really good at getting lots of free tickets for people. So just bug me and that'll happen.
Awesome. All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, send me all those links after the show
Okay.
here, and I'll
You
put them up
got
on
it.
the Facebook page.
Sounds good, man.
All right. So for everybody else out there, if you don't know, subscribe to this channel because that's what you should do. You should always subscribe to our YouTube
Hit
channel.
the subscription button. The button there. Hit the
Yeah,
button.
hit it.
It's right there. Hit that one.
Yeah.
Get it.
And then or just subscribe to it on iTunes, because I will be ripping this later, and you guys can listen to this in your audio ears.
But then they won't see the weird monkey faces I'm making the whole time.
Yeah, I know. You get half the fun when you're only listening to it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but thank you very much for having me on for episode 29.
Yes, thank you so much for coming out. I would like to make a couple announcements before we go. Next week we have Beamdog coming on to our show, and that's pretty much it. That's all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this edition of the Nerdcast, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Ciao.
Bye.
Sweet.